What happens when someone who spent his life capturing the magic of Hollywood, preserving memories for countless stars, and even stepping into the spotlight himself, is suddenly taken away in a tragic instant? The entertainment world is reeling with shock and grief as we report the heartbreaking news that Brad Everett Young, actor, celebrity photographer, activist, and beloved friend, has died at the age of 46. His life was cut short following a devastating traffic accident in Los Angeles, one that friends, family, and fans say feels almost impossible to comprehend. Authorities confirmed the collision took place late Sunday night, September 14th, along the 134 freeway. A driver traveling the wrong direction slammed into Young's vehicle, leaving him with critical injuries. Despite efforts to save him, he passed away on Monday, September 15th. The news was shared days later, and since then, tributes have been pouring in, reminding the world not just of the roles he played on screen, but of the light he brought to so many lives through his art and kindness. For those who remember the early years of his career, Brad Everett Young was more than a familiar face. He appeared in beloved television series like Grey's Anatomy, Charmed, Num 3RS, and Felicity. He even had parts in films like 1997's Jurassic Park 2 and the 2000 blockbuster Charlie's Angels. But it wasn't just his presence on screen that made him memorable. His transition into photography brought him into an entirely new spotlight, one where he wasn't the subject, but the one shaping how the world saw Hollywood itself. Young became one of the most sought-after celebrity photographers, his work gracing the pages of People, Vanity Fair, Vogue, and countless other outlets. He photographed some of the most recognizable faces of our time: David Harbour, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and many others. At red carpet events, Hollywood galas, and premieres, he was always there, camera in hand, ready to capture a moment that fans and stars alike would treasure. And yet, there was more to him than just his career. In recent years, he took on a mission that extended far beyond Hollywood's flashing lights. He co-founded Dream Loud Official, a grassroots initiative dedicated to restoring and preserving arts programs in schools across the nation. Through that effort, he aimed to inspire students, uplift teachers, and ensure that the creative spirit in classrooms never faded. Those who knew him say that in many ways, this work defined him even more than his artistic career. He was driven not by fame, but by a desire to leave the world better than he found it. But as we share his story, we're left to ask, how can someone with so much life, so much vision, and so much left to give, be gone at just 46 years old? The answer, of course, is that tragedy does not choose its moments. And yet, it is the suddenness, the senselessness of this loss that has shaken so many. At this point in the story, let me pause to ask you, how do we measure a legacy? Is it in the roles an actor plays? The photos a photographer captures? Or is it in the lives they touched, the communities they uplifted, and the inspiration they sparked? For Brad Everett Young, the answer seems to be all of the above. Friends and colleagues describe him as a man who carried joy into every room, someone who understood the importance of storytelling, whether through acting, photography, or activism. Sarah Michelle Gellar once said his photos didn't just capture a face, they captured a feeling, a memory, something that would stay with you forever. And that was his gift. Not everyone has the ability to make others feel truly seen. Brad did. The accident that claimed his life has raised fresh concerns about road safety in Los Angeles, particularly on freeways where wrong-way drivers have caused deadly collisions before. Authorities continue to investigate the incident, and while those details may provide some answers, they cannot erase the heartbreak of his passing. Here's something to think about: how many lives are changed in a single moment on the road? How many futures are rewritten because of one reckless decision? For Brad Everett Young, one wrong-way driver's mistake meant the end of a life filled with talent, generosity, and love. As the entertainment industry processes this loss, the tributes coming in paint a picture of a man who was more than his resume. Stars he photographed have shared their memories online, posting his images alongside heartfelt messages. Fans recall his kindness at events, where he would always take a moment to acknowledge those around him. And his colleagues in photography say his eye for beauty was matched only by his compassion. Let's not forget his roots. Born in Virginia, Young carried a sense of Southern warmth and groundedness with him, even as he made a career in the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles. That authenticity may be one reason why so many trusted him, not just to photograph them, but to represent them honestly. Every minute we talk about him, it becomes clear that Brad Everett Young wasn't just another Hollywood figure. He was a bridge between the star-studded world of red carpets and the everyday people who looked up to that world. He made celebrities seem human, relatable, and real. And at the same time, he encouraged ordinary people to see their own value, especially through his work with Dream Loud Official. Take a moment and think about this. In your own life, who are the people capturing your memories? Who ensures your stories are not lost, but preserved? For many, Brad Everett Young played that role not just with his camera, but with his presence. His sudden death leaves behind unfinished projects, unspoken words, and countless hearts that will miss him deeply. But it also leaves behind a powerful reminder. Life is fragile. Every photograph, every role, every act of kindness becomes part of a larger story we don't always realize we're writing until it's too late. And that's where Brad's legacy takes on new meaning. He didn't just document Hollywood, he became part of it. He didn't just support the arts in schools, he became a role model for young dreamers everywhere. He didn't just live a life, he lived a message. A message about creativity, about giving back, about seeing beauty in unexpected places. As his publicist confirmed his passing to USA Today, he made sure to highlight Dream Loud Official, knowing that this initiative was Brad's passion. Even in death, the hope is that his work will live on, inspiring others to pick up where he left off. That is how legacies are truly built, not by one person, but by many who continue the vision. So where do we go from here? For Hollywood, there will be memorials, photo retrospectives, maybe even tributes on red carpets where his lens once clicked. For his friends and family, there will be grief, long and heavy. For fans, there will be memories, moments caught on film, and stories of encounters that felt personal. And for students across America, there will be an ongoing movement to keep arts alive in schools, a dream he helped bring into reality. Here's a question worth reflecting on. How do we honor someone like Brad Everett Young? Is it enough to mourn him? Or do we need to carry forward his work, his spirit, and his mission? If each of us did just a little more to support creativity, to see others clearly, and to cherish the fleeting moments of life, maybe that would be the greatest tribute of all. Brad Everett Young leaves behind no children, but he leaves behind something equally powerful, a family of friends, fans, colleagues, and young people inspired by his vision. He leaves behind a body of work that will continue to be seen, admired, and cherished. And he leaves behind a void that no one else can truly fill. As we close this story, let us remember him not for the tragedy of his death, but for the vibrancy of his life. A man who could make stars shine brighter, who could inspire students to dream louder, and who could remind us all of the fleeting, fragile beauty of every single day. Brad Everett Young may be gone, but the images he created, the causes he championed, and the love he gave will echo far beyond his 46 years. And now I turn to you, the viewers. When you hear a story like this, what do you take away? Do you let it fade into another headline? Or do you let it remind you of the urgency of living fully, loving deeply, and giving generously? That's the choice we all face when confronted with loss. And perhaps in honoring Brad Everett Young, the best thing we can do is choose life, in all its fragile brilliance, every single day.